What if I told you that the way you've been drinking water every single day might actually be making your blood pressure worse, not better? Imagine this. It's a normal morning. You wake up, you feel a little tired, maybe a slight headache, and you reach for a big glass of water because you've always heard it's good for you. But within an hour, you feel lightheaded, maybe even a little off balance. And here's the part that will surprise you. It's not just about how much water you drink, it's about when and how you drink it. I'm Dr. Abzu, and over the years I've spent working with patients in their 60s and 70 seconds. I've seen this exact pattern play out again and again. Good people doing what they believe is healthy, but unknowingly putting extra strain on their heart and blood vessels. Stay with me until the end because I'm going to share something. Almost no doctor will tell you about water and blood pressure control. Before we go deeper, I want to ask you something simple. How many glasses of water do you drink each day, and when do you usually drink them? Morning, night, or all at once? Let me know in your mind because what you're doing right now might be the key to understanding your symptoms. So why does this even matter? Why would something as simple as water affect your blood pressure? Think of your body like a system of pipes in a home. Your blood vessels are those pipes, and your blood is the water flowing through them. Now imagine suddenly turning on every faucet at once. Pressure builds, the flow changes, and the system has to adjust quickly. Here's the way I explain it to my patients. Your body is constantly balancing fluids. Your kidneys, your heart, your blood vessels, they're all working together like a team. When you drink water too quickly or at the wrong times, it can disrupt that balance. In other words, instead of helping your system, you can temporarily overload it. And here's what the research is consistently showing us. Sudden fluid intake can trigger changes in blood pressure, especially in older adults. Some people experience spikes, others experience drops. Both can be dangerous, especially if you already have hypertension. Think of it like watering a plant. If you pour a bucket of water all at once, the soil floods and the roots struggle. But if you water it slowly over time, the plant absorbs it properly. Your body works the same way. Now, before we go any further, I'd love to know who I'm speaking to today. Tell me your name and where you're watching from. It helps me feel like we're having a real conversation, not just a lecture. Let me tell you about one of my patients, Robert, a 67-year-old retired teacher. Robert was disciplined. He walked every morning, avoided junk food, and drank what he believed was the right amount of water, about 8 large glasses a day. But his blood pressure remained stubbornly high, around 158/92, no matter what he tried. He told me something interesting. Every morning, he would drink 3 big glasses of water within 15 minutes because he heard it flushes the system. By afternoon, he'd feel dizzy, and by evening, his blood pressure would spike again. We made one small change, just one. Instead of drinking large amounts all at once, I asked him to sip water slowly throughout the day, spacing it every 30 to 45 minutes, and avoid large amounts right after waking up. Within 2 weeks, his readings dropped to 138/84. That's a significant change. And after a month, he told me something I'll never forget. He said, "Doctor, I feel steady again, like my body finally stopped fighting me." If you're still here with me and finding this helpful, take a moment to type 2 in the comments. It lets me know you're serious about taking control of your health. So what can you actually do starting today? What are the practical steps that make a real difference? The first thing is timing. Drinking a large amount of water first thing in the morning is a common mistake. Your body is coming out of a resting state. Your blood pressure regulation is still adjusting. Flooding your system too quickly can cause instability. The simple fix is to start with small sips, give your body time to wake up, and then gradually increase your intake. The second thing is speed. Many people drink water quickly, especially when they feel thirsty. But rapid intake can stretch the stomach and trigger reflexes that affect your heart rate and blood pressure. Instead, slow down, take small sips, let your body process it naturally. The third thing is consistency, drinking very little water all day and then trying to catch up in the evening is something I see often. This creates swings in fluid balance. In other words, your body goes from dry to overloaded. The fix is simple, spread your intake evenly from morning to evening. The fourth thing is drinking right before bed. It seems harmless, but large amounts of water at night can increase nighttime urination, disrupt sleep, and indirectly affect blood pressure. Poor sleep leads to poor regulation. Try to reduce intake in the last hour before bed. The fifth thing is ignoring electrolytes. Water alone is not always enough. Your body needs a balance of minerals like sodium and potassium to manage fluid properly. Drinking excessive plain water without balance can dilute these levels. The fix is not to overdo salt, but to maintain a balanced diet that supports hydration. Now let me share another story. Maria, 72 years old, a grandmother who loved gardening. She came to me with fluctuating blood pressure. Some days it was 150/90. Other days it dropped to 110/70, leaving her weak and shaky. She believed she was dehydrated, so she drank water constantly, almost every hour, large glasses. But the problem wasn't dehydration, it was imbalance. We adjusted her approach. Smaller, consistent sips, slightly increased potassium-rich foods, and we reduced her late-night water intake. Within 3 weeks, her readings stabilized. Around 128/78, but more importantly, she told me, I don't feel scared anymore. I know what my body is doing. Now, I want to say something important here. If you're on blood pressure medication, please don't make sudden changes without speaking to your doctor. These strategies are powerful, but they need to work with your treatment, not against it. Think of your doctor as your partner in this journey. So, what are the common mistakes I see? Over and over again? Mistake 1 is drinking too much water at once. People think more is better, but your body doesn't work that way. It needs steady input, not sudden overload. Mistake 2 is ignoring thirst signals. Some people force themselves to drink even when they're not thirsty. This can confuse your body's natural balance. Mistake 3 is relying only on water for hydration. Foods like fruits and vegetables also contribute. Ignoring them means missing out on balanced hydration. Mistake 4 is drinking large amounts during meals. This can dilute digestive enzymes and affect how your body processes nutrients, indirectly impacting your overall health. Mistake 5 is not adjusting for activity or weather. Your needs change depending on your day. A hot day or a long walk means you need more, but still in a balanced way. Let me take you back to what Robert said. I feel steady again. That word matters. Steady, because that's what we're aiming for. Not extremes, not spikes, not drops. Just steady, reliable balance. You've been trying your best. You've been following advice you believed was right. But now you have better information, and that gives you something powerful. It gives you control. So here's your simple plan starting tomorrow. Begin your morning with small sips, not large gulps. Spread your water intake evenly throughout the day. Slow down when you drink. Reduce intake before bed, and pay attention to how your body feels. It doesn't have to be complicated, it just has to be consistent. If this helped you, take 1 second to like this video. Share it with someone you care about, maybe a parent, a spouse, or a friend who struggles with blood pressure. And if you want to keep learning simple ways to protect your heart, make sure you subscribe, because in the next video, I'm going to show you a common breakfast habit that could be silently raising your blood pressure every single morning. And as always, this information is here to guide and support you, but it's not a replacement for your personal doctor. Work with them, stay informed, and take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next video. What if the very breakfast you trust every single morning is quietly raising your blood pressure without you realizing it? Picture this: you wake up, you prepare something simple, maybe toast, maybe cereal, maybe a cup of tea or coffee, thinking you're starting your day right. But within an hour, your heart feels a little heavier, your energy dips, and your blood pressure begins to climb. And here's the part that will surprise you. It's not always the obvious foods causing the problem. Sometimes it's the small habits hidden inside your routine. I'm Dr. Franklin, and over the years I've spent working with patients in their 60s and 70s. I've seen how one simple morning habit can quietly affect heart health day after day. Good people, careful people, doing what they believe is healthy, yet still struggling with numbers that just won't improve. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to share something almost no doctor will tell you about breakfast and blood pressure. Let me ask you something honestly. What do you usually eat or drink first thing in the morning? Is it something quick? Something sweet? Something you've been eating for years? Just think about it for a moment, because your answer might explain more than you expect. So why does breakfast have such a powerful effect on your blood pressure? Think of your body like a car that's been parked overnight. When you start it in the morning, everything needs a moment to warm up. Your heart, your blood vessels, your metabolism, they're all slowly shifting from rest to activity. Here's the way I explain it to my patients. Your body is especially sensitive in the morning. Hormones that regulate blood pressure, like cortisol, naturally rise to wake you up. Now imagine adding a sudden spike of sugar, salt, or caffeine on top of that. In other words, you're layering stimulation on top of stimulation, and your system can become overwhelmed. And here's what the research is consistently showing us. Morning eating patterns have a direct impact on blood pressure stability throughout the entire day. A poor start often leads to higher readings not just in the morning, but in the afternoon and evening as well. Think of it like setting the tone for your day. If you strike a piano key too hard at the beginning, the sound echoes harshly. But if you start gently, everything that follows is smoother. Your body works in a similar rhythm. Before we go further, I'd love to know who's here with me today. Tell me your name and where you're watching from. It helps me understand the people I'm speaking to, and it reminds you that you're not alone in this journey. Let me share a story about James, a 69-year-old retired engineer. James was methodical. He tracked his blood pressure daily, he walked every evening, and every morning he ate what he thought was a heart-healthy breakfast: 2 slices of toast with jam and a cup of strong coffee. But his readings stayed high, around 152/88, especially in the mornings. He couldn't understand why. He was doing everything right.